To multitask or not to multitask, making the most of your brain, and dare I say, being the most productive version of yourself as possible. Welcome to this little video where hopefully you will learn um, about 3 little tips there that'll help you um, protect your brain. My name is Leslie. I'm Leslie Jordan Garcia. As you can see, I'm a former educator of young adults and primary students. So I was a teacher for about 15 years. I still enjoy teaching. I'm just not in a traditional classroom anymore. I currently facilitate adults as a trainer and a mentor in professional spaces, and I work for a nonprofit where I do that. So I'm a certified learning and performance professional, meaning I have some, obviously, my teaching certifications, but I also have additional coaching credentials along with my formal education of an MBA in organizational leadership and change management, as well as an MPH, a Master's of Public Health. So hopefully I can give you some information that you can use in this brief video. All right, there's my guy, multitasking. Multitasking is safe only if different stimuli are used. So what exactly does that mean? Your willpower, your thought process cannot overcome some basic biological facts here. Experts agree that multitasking is safer if the tasks involved do not use the same stimuli, such as reading a message from the laptop while listening to music. That is something that most people do commonly, and that is a safe way to multitask. Conversely, trying to read a text message while driving, your eyes are trying to process stimuli from in the same way from the text, from the visual screen, and from the road, which is why it is unsafe. People swear that they do this really well, but essentially you're not. So your brain is not designed to deal with the same stimulus challenge at the exact same time. You know this because you've tried to listen to 2 completely different conversations at a time, and you're missing parts of the conversation. What happens is, so instead of doing 2 things at once, which you think you are, you're actually just rapidly switching from one to the other and back again. So if your attention, in the example of driving and trying to read text messages, please don't do that. If your attention is attracted to the phone for a second too long, the job of consciously controlling the vehicle comes to a complete stop. You're no longer in control of that vehicle. And as we all know, we've all heard, we've all seen commercials, catastrophe can follow. So that makes perfect sense, and I don't think anyone would say, no, really, I can control my eyes like a chameleon and look here and there at the same time. Our brains are not wired to do that basic biology. Second thing you need to realize when you multitask is that multitasking can harm your memory ability, your ability to transfer things from short-term memory to long-term memory. All right, this is multitasking, trying to spin all these colorful plates that hold your attention and you need to get them done, but they're all up in the air at once. Each time you multitask, your mind becomes a juggling act. When you multitask, you are diluting your mind's investment towards each task. Simply put, if you are trying to balance your checkbook and also cook your dinner, even though those are 2 completely different sets of stimulus, they require your attention. And maybe you get so engrossed in cooking that when you get back, or you forget a line in your balancing of your checkbook, or you thought you did, or you misplace a decimal or whatever, just because you're not attended to that task fully. You also can see, like, if you're trying to study, this is my go-to example. When you study and you're also trying to watch TV, you don't convert the information that you were supposed to be absorbing from your textbook or a digital textbook or your audio, however you're studying or reading. Um, in the same way, if you had all of your attention attuned to that fact. So undoubtedly there's been a time where you and a classmate or you and a colleague were discussing some book or report or white paper or whatever, and they recall information that you either swear that they have remembered incorrectly or you just simply don't recall. That happens from multitasking. So that's what that gap is. You don't get to translate that information fully over to your short-term memory like you normally would have if that had your undivided attention. If you find yourself multitasking, each task that your mind is engaged in will drain a part of your mental energy. As your mental energy drains, you become more absent minded. This is because your mind begins to drift. Even if you could complete the two tasks successfully, you will quite probably not recall how you completed the tasks. This is because your brain does not have the ability to fully focus on two or several tasks at the same time. Oh my gosh, I can attest to this just about mental energy and trying to accomplish too many tasks. Several years ago, my firstborn child died at the age of 2, and I just recall doing all the things that I needed to do on, as you can imagine, um, grief fueled non sleep. And it came the time where I needed to drive. I live in Austin now, but my son is laid to rest in Oklahoma City, where I'm from. And driving, there was a stretch of road that I, honest to goodness, to this day have no idea how I managed it. It was about a 40-minute drive from one town, and then I just recall my car pulling into the service station to get gas. I have no idea how I safely made it that far a distance from where the last point I remember seeing and being attentive enough to know what was going on to how I got 40 miles down, or say up I-35 in the middle of the night. So thank you to the powers that be, but also I know that that was because of my mental energy was just not present, and I could not fully attend to all the tasks that I needed to attend to. So please don't do that. Please, please, please. Pay attention. Slow down and do one thing at a time. Multitaskers think they perform better. This is just a little blurb from some research about multitasking that I think people should know about. So the case study is that there was a study headed up by Dr. Zhang Wang for Ohio State, where he showed people who were text messaging while being asked to focus on some images displayed on a computer monitor had decreased levels of performance. Additionally, Professor Wang stated that the performance level perception, what the participants thought about their performance when multitasking, is not the same as the results. The people thought they were, killing it. They thought they were doing really well. Researchers have also found that media multitasking increases your risks of developing impaired cognitive control. I wanted to stress that part. Media multitasking. We are talking about, like in this study, text messaging and a computer. So if you happen to be a parent, you know that a lot of the research about limiting screen time for your young ones is based on these types of discoveries and strong correlations in several studies. And furthermore, the more you do it, the more you have media-based multitasking time, your cognitive control decreases over time. It's not like if you take a break, if you're and then come back to it later, but over time, like over years, your cognitive ability just is not the same as it was if you did not have that type of multitasking. So the survey, the results from the study, the survey says their ability to focus on images displayed on their computer monitor plummeted up to 50%, even though they thought they were sure that they were performing perfectly. The same study participants were asked to multitask using different stimuli, such as visual and auditory stimulus, and were found to have even still reduced levels, but not as reduced with the same media focused multitask. Their results were about 30% of decreased performance for different types of stimuli, non-media based stimuli. So that just shows you that media multitasking, which we are all aware of and maybe more guilty than others. I know that I can be at my computer and steady be tapping away on my cell phone. That's just, or watching TV and on my cell phone, or, those are things that I've had to give up for the sake of my brain. And so let's learn a little bit more about that. The jury is in. There's our Black woman courtroom jury picture. If you don't know the Black Lady sketch show, please watch that. That is hilarious. I mean, okay, there's the jury's in. Those ladies want you to know. Single tasking for the win. The most current research when it comes to protecting your brain confirms that multitasking only means performing multiple tasks suboptimally. On top of productivity losses, there is a compounding taxing burden placed on the mental and emotional faculties. This results in accumulated stress, which is already a real problem for so many. Although technology today makes it extremely difficult for us to avoid multitasking, and especially those media-based multitasks, just make yourself more aware of when it is happening and try to remove the overload on your mind as much as possible. For some further information, if you're here, you will find that I am a coach that deals a lot with busy professionals who are feeling highly stressed, burnout, and not as productive or efficient as they once were. So I blog about this and I coach about this. So for further info, you can cruise on over to my website, thesistercipher.com. You can check out some posts on productivity, and I actually will have an upcoming summer challenge about stress-free task management. There's a blog post that accompanies this video, and as I upload other articles and about some more effects of multitasking and why you should not do it as much as possible. It really does not help your productivity. We can connect. I'm social. You hear me? I'm social. Are you social? Okay, that was the old song. All right. There's my email at the top, Coach Leslie at thesistercipher.com. I'm on LinkedIn at The Sister Cipher. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on the gram and on Facebook if you're doing that at The Sister Cipher. So if you can remember that, that is where you can find me. In case you forgot. Leslie Jordan Garcia is my name. This is Sister Cipher Coaching, and I am Facebook, Instagram, WordPress, that's my blog. I hope to hear from you soon. Please leave comments, questions, share, like. I would love to know what topics that you are most interested in, and I will gladly get someone who is an expert in that field if it's something that's out of my purview. Y'all have a great day and have an awesome Memorial Day weekend is when this will be up. So God bless.